Easy E, how are we?
Shawnee, I am loving this armchair athlete. I love Olympic years. I was a swimmer today. I was a 1500-meter runner today. I'm just loving it. I had a pizza while I was watching them.
Did you
Oh,
see the
I love,
relay? The
oh
girl
my
from the
God.
Netherlands. Oh my God. The
Ah,
athletes on the Saturday night was absolutely phenomenal. The way I didn't even see her come up until the very end when she passed the Americans. I was looking at the American and I was like, oh, the British girl might catch up. But I never even saw the girl from the Netherlands coming up. And all of a sudden she's in front. I'm like, wait, where'd she come from? She wasn't in the top three. Like, where'd she come from? It is class. But I get what you mean about being an armchair Olympic washer.
I love even in the swimming. Daniel Whiffen had a phenomenal point. Like he got a bronze
Dada.
medal, and he was disappointed. I was like, wow, we have come a long way in swimming. First medal since '96, and he's disappointed in a second race with a bronze. But I love watching the world record time just ticking in
Yeah.
front of them. It is the most exciting thing ever. And watching the women's medley, and they were racing the world record time, the Team USA, and like I was like, go on. It was
Uh,
just like a fingertip, and that was it. And it was a world record. It's just so exciting. I have to say, I do love it.
I'll probably lose like most of the audience with this reference, but remember back in the day playing Gran Turismo on the PlayStation and you raced, I think it was Gran Turismo, you raced against
You raise your
yourself with
ghost.
the ghost of yourself. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing better, I'm
Oh,
not.
stop the lights. It was but it's such a spectacle. There's so much sport. I think that's what I like about it the most. Like, don't get me wrong, the golf Olympics, I'm like, I don't really want to see Rory McIlroy playing golf again.
You
And
see it throughout the
I
whole
know it's
year.
still the Olympics, but I watched them do that in the Masters or the Opens and
Same with
stats on it.
tennis.
Same with tennis. I'm looking at Djokovic
See
playing again.
Djokovic.
I'm like, wait, why are you here? This is the
That's
Olympics.
harsh.
No, but it's
But
like,
it's stuff you don't see all the time. Like you like see I
yeah,
that was like Saturday night was the first time I saw the swimming relay and all the different types of strokes and people
yeah.
jumping in, like you said, the line across the pool and that kind of thing. And like you don't see 100-meter sprints. Like obviously they're on different times of the year, the European Championships, World
No, like
Championships, like different years, but this is
I
just
think it's
no.
it's in terms of the profile of the
Mm,
sport. The Olympics is, amazing, and it's fantastic that they've included so many other sports. But I think when you have a professional tennis player with multi-million euro deals and sponsors,
mm.
and you've got basketball team USA, I mean, like the Olympics is like an inconvenience for these people. Do you get me? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
winning.
Especially the basketball because people there are I know just from watching like the States and stuff, they're like, ah, they mightn't go this year. They might like until they got bet there. What was it? It was 2008 they came third or something. And I was like, whoa, we could never let that happen again. And people start coming back in. Maybe 2004 it was. And then 2008, they're like, here, Kobe Bryant, get back in this team. We need more players to make sure we win this team. We can never not get a gold medal again. Whereas before, it's like, we'll just send whoever and we'll win. And probably the same with tennis players. Like, you don't, like, when you hear about Djokovic's record, you talk about all the Grand Slams and being ahead of Nadal and Federer, but you don't think how many gold medals has Djokovic
Have
won
they won
compared to
in the
Nadal
Olympics?
to
Yeah.
Federer, and which one's the better one because which one has the more gold medal. It's the same with how many majors does Tiger Woods have? You never say how many majors and how many gold medals does he have as
How many
well.
gold
This
medals
is
did he get in the Olympics? Yeah, it's
exactly like I
just
don't even know. Like,
when you've such high performing professionals in their sports with
mm,
huge contracts and
yeah.
global audiences, like, get out of the limelight. Give it to someone else. Let the amateurs go against each other. Do give someone else a chance to shine
Mm.
on a different stage. And that's why, like, the golf was on today, and I was actually like, do you know what? I've no interest in watching this. I've been watching I followed these guys literally in Dubai. I walked around after them on a random day in a golf course. I was like, and then the swimming kicked in. I was like, yes, this is what I want to see. And the high jump was on, the this was on, and there's just so much else. Even the cycling and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is great, great triathletes, because triathlon isn't as big as these sports. So yes, they're
Yeah.
racing in all the Ironmans, they're racing in these. Some of them have sponsors, but so does all of the top athletes, the sprinters, the Usain Bolts. But to be honest, to me, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But even then, there's some great sports like the show jumping, the few others that it just gives an extra chance to see those sports that you're not kind of used to seeing, I suppose. Maybe that's what I'm getting at. Maybe there's people listening going, Eric, you're so
Look.
wrong. We need
Well, I
we
suppose
need the best golfers playing golf in the Olympics.
with a back you up on that one, like imagine if you heard 6 months ago, oh, Katie Taylor is making a comeback to Olympic boxing. That's like she's selling
Nah,
out
she's
Madison
gone
Square
past it.
Garden and the Tree Arena, and
Yeah.
like gone past it is some way of getting an Olympic gold medal, but at the same time, like boxing does seem to have that transition from like amateur to pro, whereas basketball, tennis doesn't, and I actually don't know why. I know I
Yeah,
had
it
years
is.
and years ago basketball anyway until
It
'92.
is. It is. It's just so different. But it is, I suppose, an opportunity to watch young athletes who are just, yeah, they're just performing so well, and some heartbreak, and some just having an off day. And, it's just great. I just love watching it. It's an absolute spectacle. I'll be sad when it's over.
There is a downside to it though.
Go on.
Well, I was off this past week because I was hoping to move into the new house and I didn't. And so I had a couple of days to spare, which is great for this podcast because we recorded, 5 episodes for the podcast over the next couple of weeks. And I really can't wait for people to hear the guests we have coming to the podcast in the next couple of weeks. But I was like listening to the podcasts and they were obviously recording them and then, watching the Olympics. I'm like, I need to do something. I need to go something. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for the backyard ultra next week. So I was like, right, I'm going to sign up for there was a 24, a 12, and a 6 hour race down in Leakstep on the track. Anto was running from Dundee 50K, and I was like, right, I might just sign up for this and see where I'm at. But then I got double booked for the Saturday night, so I couldn't do a 12-hour one. At the time, I thought I'd be all right doing a 12-hour one. I was like, I'll just do the 6, but I'll do 5 hours. I'll do a backyard ultra format. And then I said to myself, 5 hours is not enough to see where I'm at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to do a 2 hour 20K run, tire the legs out, head down to Leaksley for 12 o'clock and try and run a backyard ultra format, 400-meter track. Just do roughly 6.7K, whatever it be on a track, get a bit of food, rest 5-10 minutes, and then go again and see how I got on. And I was like, I felt okay to around 90 minutes in. And I was like, this was a dumb idea. My legs are.
I could have told you that before you started this story. You've just wasted 3 minutes of my life.
But I thought, just doing it on tired legs rather than just doing because 5 hours of backyard ultra is not only, but it is only less than 35 kilometers. So, but it's that's 35 over 5 hours. So I thought if I run 20 at a good pace and then try, like what ended up happening in the end, to be bluntly honest, is like last half hour I had to walk. The legs were in a heap. And I ended up getting 20K in 2 hours in the training run, getting down to League Step 2 hours later. I ended up doing like 38K over the next 5 hours, which doesn't add up maths-wise, but it shows you the pain I was in, but it is slightly more than the 5 hour loop because the big one's on this week in Enniskillen. There's a good couple of guys from Team Elevation heading down, so the guys are listening, best of luck to you all. I will be there myself, but we'll see how we get on my end. But it's in Florence Court, it's the big All Ireland, they're kind of calling it, and I think I'm just going to go for 12 hours, do what I can, and get done. But I'm also in the doghouse for this one because it looks like it's on this upcoming Saturday, and it looks like I'm going to be moving into the new house on Friday, which means instead of spending the weekend in the new house and getting stuff ready, myself and Neve we'll be going up north for the weekend. But I did book a bed and breakfast for her, so like she's not going to be completely on site all the time. But yeah, I've got 2 nights booked. I didn't know it was going to fall that way when I booked this, 4 or 5 months back. But yeah.
You're one of the few men I know who's gotten divorced before he got married. It's absolutely unbelievable.
What a one. But yeah, no.
You have mentioned, even with all your mess ups, and a big best of luck to all the guys who are taking part in the event. But we do have a guest coming on who sheds some experience on running that might motivate you to at least get a couple of hours in.
Yeah, I mean, this week's episode was probably one of the main factors in me going, let's go. Because this week's guest kind of talks about doing a lot of races, but doesn't race every race. Just turns up and goes, wherever the body's feeling today, I'm going to do it. And is not afraid to put himself out there. Whatever happens. And it was actually a huge reason for me going, yeah, I could do that for this race in League Slip and see how I get on. So I'm very excited for people to listen to this one.
Yeah, it's a great episode. And again, for those who are listening or those who are listening to us for the first time, it's a great episode about community. It's a great
Mm.
episode about what people can do when someone has an idea and people get behind it, and when a group gets together, how far you can go. And it's another one of those great episodes, and they represent themselves well and the community well. And to be honest, I think everyone has checked in with us enough on this one. It's time to get listening to this week's episode.
Let's go. So this week on the Any Given Runday podcast, well, if you've ever wanted to know about pretty much any ultra marathon in Ireland, not only has our next guest probably done them, but he's podium placed in a lot of them, from the Wicklow Way to the Kerry Way to the Mourne Way, every which way, as well as winning the Waterville Trail Running Festival 3-day stage. Sean Meehan, welcome to this week's episode of the Any Given Runday podcast. How are you getting on?
Thanks, fair play to you. Nice one for having me. It's a good intro. Nice one.
I never get complimented the intros around here.
Do you know
Erica's
what?
always in first.
Shawnee, I give it. It was all right. That was probably the best one you've ever done.
After
Yeah, you did
222 episodes, I finally got a compliment there. Thank you very much. I'm very proud of that, Eric. You can ask the first question. So,
Now, Sean, now that one Sean has figured out how to do things, other Sean Meehan, what the hell went wrong with you? What are you doing ultramarathons?
I don't know. I think well, ultras in any way. I think you obviously have to have a bit mad in the head probably to do them. I like your own company is probably the best way to give it if you like going the longer distance. But I think when I started running, I don't think I was thinking about speed or anything like that. It was just always about getting further. But as soon as I got my first marathon out of the way, I enjoyed seeing how far I could go instead of thinking about like, can I do a 5K at this speed or 10K at this speed? I just wanted to see could I run for this many hours or this like at this long, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It was
And
probably more down to that.
where does that come from? I suppose when we get people on, it's always about we see the end product, and it's great for me and Sean. We sit here, we see you podium and this, and we're like your fangirls are the greatest thing. We front row seats to hear all the stories, but everyone loves to know, where did it start? What is your background, and when did running start for you?
Well, running, it was kind of a bit of an accident, I think. I think I was doing a lot of kind of boxing training and just weights and stuff like that. So I had a bit of a background in the fitness anyways, which I think helped big time. Like a lot of people in the running now, they're going back to the strength conditioning. I kind of had that to begin with. But I was kind of getting into running a little bit from the odd 10K. And a friend of mine, Joe Doyle, we were out on for New Year's Eve one time. There was a few of them doing the Rome Marathon. And he says, will I book you onto it? And he booked me onto it. And that was that. And I think I got back from, we were away on holidays. I got back, and I think my furthest distance at the time was like 10. It was actually 12K, I remember, something like that was. And then I went out and done that exact distance, and I was broke up. I was shit. My IT band, I didn't know it was IT band at the time, because if you ever got that, feels like it's inside your bone. Like it's so, do you know what I mean? So I didn't know.
And it
what
gets
was
worse
going on.
with
I was
every
like,
step. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, every time we went training, like Kenneth and all out of Cherry Orchard Running Club, they'll do a run out. That's who was organising the trip, and they'll do a run out once a week, like a 20K training run, and it was torture for me every time, because like as soon as you get going, it's just pain. So my training leading up to that was torture. The race itself, when we got over, it was lovely out for the first 2 days, or the first day we got there, and then the day of the race, it just rained non-stop, and I hated it. I was over 5 hours. I don't know what, it was torture. And then when I finished, I had no towel or anything like that. And then taxis, like no change at top, because we thought there was a few going to be at the finish line. And so I couldn't even get into a taxi. My phone got wet, so I couldn't ring anybody to tell them where I was. It was a nightmare. The end of that race that I had in my head was lying in the bath in the hotel with the hot shower on, just thinking, I'm never doing this again.
Your first marathon experience sounds like me and Sean's. An absolute disaster. But there is hope for it.
Yeah.
There is hope for us. We did Dublin, disaster. We've mentioned it now the last 2 weeks. Look at Sean's face when I say, look, we nearly killed each other doing it. It was like that, just
horrible,
over 5 hours.
It was a nice day, though. It was a nice day.
Lovely day. The weather was great.
We spent too long outside and instead of finishing going to the pub earlier.
I've never spent 5 hours with Sean in my life ever again after that either. Cherry Orchard Running Club, you mentioned, they organised that trip. Are they
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ones in the orange?
yeah. Well, when
Ah,
they
yes.
started,
I see them
when they,
everywhere in the park.
yeah, when they kicked off, it was basically, I think Kenneth started that, and he was just getting a few lads to do like races and stuff like that around. There was a small gang of them, and then that Rome marathon, he organised a group to go over, and there was, I don't know how many from the area. There was probably 20, 30 people from the area, and a lot of them was the first marathon. Like the club wasn't really, it was going, but it wasn't really kicked off as much as it is now at the time. And then from that, I think every year for the next 2 or 3 years, that was 2017. And then the following year, 18 and 19, we had the same kind of trips to begin to Paris and then Barcelona. And then COVID hit. But just before that, Kenna was after getting the club into a proper club then as well. Do you know what I mean? But the trips kind of stopped hadn't started back since COVID, I suppose.
I've no stats on running clubs, but just even seeing the amount of orange t-shirts in Dublin Marathon last year, and I probably have met you before. Met's probably the wrong way of putting it, because I remember when I did the Dundee 50K this year, like every 20, 30 minutes, I was getting lapped by 3 lads in orange t-shirts. I don't know if it was you or you were further on ahead because you finished like 11th or something insane in 3 hours and 23 minutes. Like, but like you guys seem to be one of the biggest clubs in Dublin. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, well, I think we could be the first. We definitely are not the first club, but the first kind of club from the likes of startup like that candidate, and then the kind of the inner city, and then there's like the Liberties, like and the all those clubs kind of kicked off then after that. But before that, when you know yourself, it's mostly running clubs are mostly in nice, well-off areas, kind of. You know what I mean? Well, other than that's what they kind of were. Like years ago, before Cherry Orchard Running Club, I never seen anybody running around Cherry Orchard unless they were either chasing somebody or being chased.
Or being chased.
Yeah. Or they were in the boxing club. The only lads you'll see running around Cherry Orchard would be from one of the like Matchfield Boxing Club or Cherry Orchard Boxing Club. Then, like I think even Cherry Orchard Boxing Club was after kind of set up the club, but them running just became normal. Like I think there's the amount of people that's out now.
It is amazing. We had Jennifer Fay on a couple of weeks back from Sheriff Street Running Club, and she said the same. It started as a social club with a couple of girls with a goal for charity and a walk and a charity thing. And when people start to stuck at it, the power of what happens with this community club is amazing, because seeing, as you said, is believing. When you don't see anyone running, you think, what are they running for? But now you see this bright orange taking over the streets, the Cherry Orchard, the Phoenix Park, the whole lot. And people are wondering how they can get involved and who are they and what are they doing. The colour is great. Everyone knows who you are. And it's great for the community. I think personally anyway, in terms of sport and giving people an outlet that's enjoyable.
Yeah, well, when I was younger, there was nothing like that. There was like the only things going around was clubs, and most of the clubs were just when you're active. There was football teams as well, but I was fucking shit at football. I tried football. I think I played for Cork FC. It used to be a team in Cherry Orchard. I think I was brutal. I used to only get me game because they had to give everybody the game. But I don't know, I wasn't even with them long. But I just could never. I played football all the time. Like it wasn't like I never played on the road or anything like that. I just never got any better. So that never.
You reached your peak at 7, and that was it.
Yeah, and that was shit. Or like if there had been a running club back then, I probably would have gone into it then. And which like you'll see now, there's Kenna has loads of younger lads like that are real young, and the only reason why I think Kenna can get, like other areas probably have their kind of people and so like Kenna, but it's because a lot of the people know Kenna and like trust giving the kids into the club and stuff like that. And like that's how I don't think anybody other than him would have kind of got the club to where it is, because he's known in the area and everybody knows him for being a nice fella. So when he started off a club, people thought like, oh, I'll get into this with him. You know what I mean? He's all right. It must be good if he's doing it. You know what I mean? And then people
Kenna paid us 500. He paid us 500 before this to make him sound good as well. So fair play to you, Kenna. You're an absolute model citizen. I've never met a nicer guy in my life. But it does take someone like that, and it is that trust, and it is that seeing is believing. But along with Kenna, people are seeing you doing great things in the orange jersey now as well.
Yeah, well, it's good that I get messages all the time off people that I just hadn't talked to in ages, and just telling me that they're getting running and stuff like that as well. And just surprised, because I was never quite this kind of person that would have been like, people would be surprised and see me running at all. Do you know what I mean? Like people that I probably didn't talk to back in the days that I know from being at parties with. Do you know what I mean? Surprised and think to myself, like, is that you that I just see on Instagram running, leading to the Ireland Cup and all? Like, you just can't believe it. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's good that seeing people, I'm seeing the same as well. People that I'd never thought be out running, I'm seeing or instead of parties on their Instagram. It's not because of me or because of it's just because that's the way things are now. Like, it's easier for people to do. Like, it's not like not cool, but like it's not a
It's
stupid
not
thing anymore.
strange. Yeah,
You're
you're not
what I mean?
you're not the outlier, you're not the weirdo. It's because everyone is going on Saturday. And when everyone's
Yeah,
going on Saturday, it's easier to go running on Saturday. And
exactly. And you're not partying. Like, people are thinking, like, why do I want to be out all night on a Friday and Saturday night, and when I can go on a run on Sunday and have a bit of crack with everybody and stuff like that? Do you know what I mean? And people's mentality, I think, and the culture is changing a bit now as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, even younger people, not like when I was younger, it was all about partying and stuff like that. Even the younger people now are going to the gym a lot more and stuff like that. It's just a change of culture. And I think the running clubs kind of took off around that same time, and they're just flying now.
and how do you cater? Obviously, you're on the top end. You've put in your time. You've been with the club for a long time since your first marathon, and it's been a very quick progression. You've obviously been very consistent. How do clubs like that keep the new people in? Obviously, you see, you believe, you come in, and people who are nervous, because that's why I think athletics clubs, even for me, I'm like, oh, I'm not going down there. They're all extreme athletes. I'd be embarrassed going in there. But obviously, the community clubs are a little bit more approachable. But how do you take in new members, and how do you cater for everyone?
Well, the way they are, it's a community kind of thing for them. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's their 5Ks, I think, are just like the training I do. Like, I'm in a different kind of group, and we'll be up the mountains and stuff like that. But the training they do, like, it's a community based thing. Like, they're happy doing the 5Ks and 10Ks every week and just getting out together and having a bit of crack. Do you know what I mean? There's no pressure on any of them to do. Like, they do the sprints. There's a lad that Clive does a bit of training with them every Tuesday evening down the park, and there's a big gang of them in the Phoenix Park doing like sprint walks and stuff like that. But they wouldn't have any pressure on having to get better or anything like that. They're just getting out, getting the walk done, and having a bit of crack with each other. Whereas, like, my dad is actually does a bit with the club. He's trying to set up like a kind of trail group in the club as well, and trying to get a few more of them up the trails, because it's not accessible for as many people to go up the trails all the time, especially if you're only doing a 5 or 10K. Like, people are thinking, it's no point in heading all the way up there just to do that as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Your dad only paid us 50, so we're not mentioning him by name.
Yeah.
But it's but it is great, and it does take those people like your dad to get people involved in that, to give it a different option for different groups. And then I suppose looking back at that, you got into the community, you took on Rome, you had great leaders in the community kind of guiding you into what running was. At what point did you realise there's something here for me?
Well, I think the basics of just getting further and further. Like, I never thought there was that in there for me. I just enjoyed running. Like, people don't understand. The people look at it and like, oh, I want to do that, but they don't enjoy the process. They don't enjoy getting out for long hours. Like, a Sunday for me sometimes, even when I still was kind of drinking a bit, I loved getting out on my own and just running for ages. Like, even when I could, like, but at the time when I say ages, like 20K would have been ages for me at that time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I ran out and say I ran, say, from here to the 40 foot or something like that or whatever, and probably, so I'll stop along the way and have something, on a Sunday, like, I'll be out for ages, but I'll only get 20K done. But I'll be happy just doing that. And I was just tapping away doing that for a good while until I think my first trail race, I think, was the Run the Line, because I wasn't really getting up the trails as it is. Like, it's not, you don't think it's accessible. And when you're not used to getting up there, like, I used to just go to Ticknock and get lost nearly all the time. But like it's mad. Even though I bring friends up there now running, and if they get lost, I'm saying, you're bleeding stupid, how to get lost? And then I'm thinking back, like, I used to go up and expecting to kind of get lost a little bit, but still, like, and that be only doing 10K and feel like you're after doing 50. But then after doing kind of Run the Line, I was like, I'd rather do this kind of trail races. And I was following IMRA for ages. Or not following, like, I was a member. I was signing up every year, and I didn't do any race because I thought IMRA was like a kind of a club or a clique kind of. Like, I was thinking, like, I don't really know the money up there or anything like that, so I didn't really want to just rock up on my own, not realising how the race works or anything like that. And other people were telling me that I knew were saying, like, just head up, like, they're all sound. And then the first one I done was actually the Wicklow Way Ultra. And when I signed up to that then, I said to myself, just why wasn't I doing this all the time then? Because I just, after that then, I don't think every year race for the rest of the summer then. But that was not last year, the year before, and I was only with Emirates since then. Like, and before that, I think when I seen those longer races, say like Kerry, I kind of was just thinking, aiming for those, like the Kerry Way. I was kind of in my head that I could do that, because I think, like, I was looking up, even though I wasn't doing any Emirates races, I was looking up for all, like, who was like this, who was the times people were winning them, and like the names that people were doing them and stuff like that. And I just wasn't doing any of the races, the big races themselves, you know what I mean? Until my first Wicklow Way. And I think that was after doing a couple of ultras as well. Like, I done the Kerry Way before that.
The Run the Line is such a great trail run to get people into running the 13K or the 26K. That was my first trail run as well, and I fell in love with it. But I want to go back for a second, because I want to go back to you in Rome, watching that hot bath. You're soaking wet, and you're like, never again. At that stage, did you enjoy long runs up to 20K, and did that keep you back into running? Or was there unfinished business with a marathon? Or was it, as soon as you started running, you straight away enjoyed the process?
No, I hated that process, because I was injured the whole time, basically training for that.
So what changed?
I had Dublin booked already, training
Okay.
for it. So like training for that, I was thinking, like, I already had in my head I'm going to do Dublin. Do you know what I mean? So I think as soon as Rome was out of the way, I kind of had like 2 or 3 weeks where I just let myself settle. And then just once I start running again, the pain wasn't really there anymore. And straight away, I was enjoying it. Like, it was just, the runs were just, every run was probably 10K or whatever. And it was so much easier. Like, it wasn't torture. Well, it probably wasn't all like 10K and all. Even if back then a 5K would have been like a 10K to me, but I was enjoying every run. You know what I mean? So it was kind of, there was no pain or anything like that then. And then when I did do Dublin Marathon, I didn't do a massive time, but I think I done like 4 hours or so, 4 hours or something like that. Or I remember I finished it with my dad and Joe Doyle that got me running, and the three of us done it together. And I remember it was just, that was it then. Like, I was hooked. You know what I mean? I wish if that had been my first marathon, I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more than if I was trained for it. But after that, I got me buzzing down for it.
That does connect now. It makes a lot more sense to me, because you went from, absolute despair in Rome. All of a sudden, you're in Imre and everything else. Like, hang on a second, there's something missing there. But now that you said that and you had that experience of the good marathon in Dublin, it all makes sense. I'm assuming then after Dublin, you were like, how? Because it seems to be there's 3 ways you can go after marathon. That you're like, that was torture, I'm never doing it again, which almost happened to you in Rome. And then when you finish your first one, it's kind of like, I either want to do it faster or I want to go longer. And it sounds like you went down the I want to go longer route. Did that happen almost straight away then into the trail running?
Yeah, I think so, because the minute I finished, like, the way I used to drive around listening to Audible books and stuff like that, and everything was about like Scott Jurek and stuff like that, and about all that was kind of ultra running stuff. And that was just kind of like in my head then. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was watching, before I was doing any proper runs like that, I'm watching stuff on YouTube, like, about training and everything else constantly. And I wasn't even doing any of the training. Like, I'm watching stuff, I'm going to do that.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
I am the fittest man on the couch. I swear to God.
I still do it. I still do it. I'd be out on a run and I'm saying to myself, next week I'm going to start my training off, going to do this, going to do that. I'd be writing it down sometimes, me training week or me plan for the week. And I train for the week, but I never do what I plan to do. It all kind of goes out the window a little bit.
Structure, obviously, when you're looking at the likes of an ultra marathon and you're looking at that, obviously you did a good time. You finished with your dad, who will never be named, and
he's Sean as well. He's Sean Boland.
We have to charge him more. But it's what point of, do you still train yourself? Are you still educating yourself? Obviously, YouTube. A lot of people. YouTube is one of the largest search engines in the world in terms of, you can look anything up, see someone doing it, and try it out yourself. But at what point have you added more structure into your training through the club, or obviously are you still training yourself?
No, I just train myself. Now, I dallied with, like, I tried out with coaches before, and I'm just a coaching nightmare. Like, I think my first time doing a bit with a coach, like, I'm booking races non-stop. I was, like, every other week. So they give me a training plan, and every other week I'm
doing a 10K
races. Yeah, and the first coach I was with was, the time when I booked on for the coach, I should have been resting. It was after a big race, and it was, some of my workouts were too complicated for me, and I was like, I don't have the head for that at the minute. So, and then the second one, was probably what I was looking for. Just a bit of structure telling me what to do. But every week I was finding, this was only last year, I was finding different races to do. So it was like, I was texting, he's sending me on training for the week, and I'm texting him back, I'm doing this 50k the weekend actually. You know what I mean? I'm doing this IMA race, you know what I mean? Because I'm just finding stuff on the calendar and thinking, I'm going to do that. That looks good, you know what I mean? And I went through the whole summer last year. I was probably doing, every other week I was probably doing a race. So like, I was like, this isn't working, you know what I mean? It's not fair on a coach. You know what I mean?
I want to give an example of that, and correct me if I'm wrong on this. You did the Waterville Trail Running Festival, which is 3 43Ks back to back to back. So 3 days of 43K, and then not only did you win it, you set a course record. And then 2 weeks later, you did the Glendalough Marathon, which is the lap of the gap, 700 meters of elevation, you came second. Is that right? 2 weeks apart then, you went straight back into marathon race pace and you felt great?
Well, last year was, I won the 3-day stage one last year. This one was the continuous one.
Okay.
This year. But last year I done the exact same. I done the Waterville one, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks after I done Glendalough lap of the gap. And then I done a race up in the Mourne Way Ultra. I think that was 80k. I think that was like 2 weeks after that or something. And then I think I don't know if it was the Thoroughbred Marathon, I think around the same time. And then I done, I think, the Slave Bloom one, all in the space of a couple of weeks. Now, I wasn't doing them at colossal times or anything like that. But I was like,
gotta push back on that. If it's the same year I have in front of me, you came second in the Mourne Way 82k, and you came third in the Kildare Thoroughbred Marathon.
Yeah, but
colossal fucking times.
But the Mourne Way one, in fairness, like there was nobody. The way that worked out that race, like he went out. I think 2 lads went out really fast, and then I think I ended up just running with a lad in third. But one of them clamped up, and one of them went the wrong way. So I should have been really third. I think he got disqualified. But there was nobody chasing. It was a hot day, and there was nobody chasing me. So the lad that was in front of me thought I was chasing him down, and I was like, "I'm just taking my time." Like there was nobody really racing me. You know what I mean? And even when I got to the finish line, that poor lad was up there killing himself to get the rip ahead of me, thinking I was chasing him down, and I wasn't. I was just tapping away. So I'd say it was a tough race for him for that came first, but see, like it kind of, I was still good to come second. I got nothing for it, not yet, no trophy or anything like that. So
what?
But it was like,
Not even
I hope you got something.
I was only talking about it today because this time last it was the Mourne Way Ultra. When I was booking it, I had on the booking that it was, I think it was the 9th of June, and I was the Kerry Way Ultra Club were doing a race on the 10th. So I was going to do that and then just volunteer at the Kerry Orchard Club one. And then I got an email then that week, like had my hotel and all up there booked, saying that was the registrations that morning on the 10th and stuff like that. And I was like, that can't be right. And they just, I don't know where they changed it, but they didn't tell anybody to change it. But I always said some screenshots of where I booked that, where it says that was on the 9th, and they just, well, it's whatever. But then, but Kerry Orchard done a 10k, and that the same day, and 4th, 2nd, and 3rd got a big glass 4th place, 2nd place, and 3rd place trophy, and I got nothing for doing an 82 today.
That's not right. Going back to all that the race and stuff there, you're doing something right because you're clearly not getting injured going from race to race and race, getting all these podiums. What do you credit to that?
Well, going to the physio, I think, was the best thing. Last year, I done after Waterville last year, I didn't take much of a rest, and I didn't go to the physio straight away. Normally after I'll do a big race, I'll always go to physio. I go to elite physiotherapy in Clondalkin Village. Gavin Crawford, he's brilliant. But I didn't go this time because I just thought I was going to take a week off, and I ended up doing an IMA race and getting caught up into a race, and probably only did about 4k, and it was only a 10k race, and then I just had a niggle then after that for the rest of the summer. Now, in fairness, I wasn't really, once I got running, I wasn't bothering me, but I assessed myself, I'm never going to miss out on the physio before or after any race. So as soon as I got any race done, I was straight up to the physio. As soon as I got not even a race, a big run, I'm in with the physio, and I just get a deep tissue, and the minute I'm finished a big training run, I'm straight in. So nearly every week, or probably even sometimes 2 weeks, I'm in with the physio, and I think that's the best thing that I've ever done. Because even like I bounced back a lot from most of my training and runs, like, and even but last year, like I mean miles, if you look at the kilometers I was doing, I wasn't doing as much as a lot of the like lads are. Like you'll see some of the lads do have 100 miles and under the belt every week. Like I was just tapping away and then doing a race, tapping away and doing a race. Like now this year I'm trying to up my mileage a bit, but like people will be saying to me all last year, you're doing every race. But I was probably doing, the people saying that to me, I'm probably doing less like running than they are. Do you know what I mean? It's just that I'm throwing in a race here and there.
You're looking after the body as well. What is so special about Waterville, the trail running festival?
I think it's just something about, I think, the buzz down there and stuff like that, and it means a good bit to me and the lads. Like there's a good lads that crew for me, and I think this year was our third year doing it, and the atmosphere and stuff down there, it's just there's something different about it. Like, and I like the way they're not trying to commercialize or make it a big deal. And Simon down there, like it's like that runs he doesn't want it to be a big huge thing. He wants it to be that small little race. You know what I mean? And it's that kind of makes it a little bit better. And because
he says that, but he gave us 500 quid for you to mention him on the podcast. No, I'm only joking. I have to stop doing this.
Yeah. People think I'm fucking made of money. We're made of money now, Eric.
Yeah, but on top of that, it's lovely down there. It's gorgeous. Like this year, I think, like sometimes it's a bit rainy and stuff like that down there. But this year, like there was times I was just, probably because I was out on one continuous, had more time to look around and think, Jesus Christ, it's actually nice. But it's unbelievable, the views down there. Like it's a top spot. Like
we've had some few podcasts, but go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, it's a great part, and there's a lot of good events, a lot of tough events that happen down there as well. So not only does it come with the scenery, they're not easy. There's a lot of elevation, there's a lot of challenging trails down there.
Yeah, well, like you think I'd know. I don't know how many loops I'm at to do now. I done the marathon the first year I went down, and then I done the 3 continuous loops, and then every time you do the Kerry Way, you go through Waterville as well. So I've been down there loads of times. And this year, while I was training away, like this footwear and stuff like that, I thought I was going to use wasn't what I needed at all. Like the terrain is it's a bit unforgiving down there. Do you know what I mean? Like there's like running up and down on some sections, you're on your arse. Do you know what I mean? If it's a bit wet, you're sliding around the place. Now, no, it's not. You're not going to hurt yourself. It's muck you're falling on, or it's. Like in my head, I was trying to thinking, I'm just going to keep a nice pace, run this and at my own, but like go with my heart rate, all this carry on in my head. But there's some
like Takeshi's Castle.
You mentioned there that the Kerry Way Ultra. Did you do it the year where the heat was unbearable near the start, or was it a whitewash or something? Was last rain the following year or something like that? The weather was really bad one way or the other.
It's like that every year. I've done it 3 times, I think.
And just lashing?
No, it rains a bit, but it's heat. That's one thing I remember about it. Like you don't be expecting it, kind of how like the humidity down there. Like even at night, like it's tough going.
Yeah,
like this year, like I think we had a later start this year, 10 o'clock start, or last year, and the heat, like so you can't really get into it a little bit. So the minute we started, the heat was whacking us out. And like I don't know what it was. I think it was a big DNF rate. Like most of the lads that went out went out in front, all DNF'd. Like there was 1 or 2 that didn't DNF. Out of like a nice big group of them that went out ahead. You know what I mean? It was a tough out race.
Yeah, we Joe O'Leary in the podcast a couple months ago, and he did that, and he was saying the amount of people I nearly positively said he'd never seen that many people DNF in a race, and it was just one of those where the heat was absolutely insane. Just seems mad that this country could produce that much heat on any given day. You're just not prepped for it. Well, we're not as a country.
No, what's different down there, and it's different that time of year, because last year the lads we went down the camper van to do a recce and stuff like that. I think I went down twice to 2 separate recce's of the route that I remember of being tough in. And I remember hammering it over and thinking to myself, no, checking my things on Strava and thinking like, geez, I'm not doing well on that. You know what I mean? It's going to be a good year for me. And the race was only starting, and I'm looking at my heart rate thinking, wait, this isn't right. Something must be wrong with this. Something must be wrong with me. What? You know what I mean? Ignore that. Get that off and don't look at it anymore. You know what I mean? like I was just went pear-shaped quick enough. I knew this was probably like there was sections of this at the start where I didn't feel good. Like the first aid station this year, that I remember the last 2 years, even my first time doing it, I remember cruising to it thinking, oh, I feel great, you know what I mean? And this time I got to it and I was like Jason Williamson, that he came joined second. I remember him cruising past me. I think it was the first or second aid station. And I'm running, I'm looking at him, and he's not even running that fast. I'm looking at me watching, I'm saying to myself, I'm not going anywhere. But I felt like I was pushing it. And I think to myself, I have a lot to go. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot more this place left, and I'm not feeling good. This isn't good. I'm not going to enjoy this.
How did you mentally turn that around?
I didn't.
Mentally, you just kept pushing. It's 200k, and you're at the first station. You're screwed.
I think I felt like that for most. But look, you have moments where you're up and down and stuff like that when you see your crew and they give you a bit of a boost. But like a lot of it was kind of like that. Do you know what I mean? Because well, in fairness, when I came again, when you run into the 100Ks and stuff like that, and the people doing the shorter distances, and you get a boost off them and run it past the people that start at 6 o'clock in the morning, because there's 2 starts last year. So if you think you're not going to finish in 30 plus hours, you start at 6 o'clock and they give you 40 hours to do it. So when you're passing them out, you kind of get a bit of a boost then. Do you know what I mean? I find any race like that, where if it's an out and back, or you get to see other people on the course, it just springs me into life then a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? It makes you like get into a better mood and stop hitting yourself, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you do that again this year?
No, we are planning on doing it this year. That's all I was thinking about for ages. But I applied for the Sky Running World Championships Irish team, and I got picked for that. So that's something totally different. That's the same weekend. I think we fly out the same weekend for that. So like
hold on, Sean missed this in the intro. Sean, terrible intro. I knew there was something.
So intro talks about the past.
Explain this.
Yeah, the Sky Running Ireland just put up something on their Instagram a couple of weeks before Waterville, that they were picking in the first Irish senior team. I don't know if it's the first one or the first one in a couple of years, because they didn't have one. I think they just had the junior team before. And I just applied for it onto the Instagram. And I think I got for the Ultra, I think it's a 70k. I think first me, Ricky Wynn and Killian got picked for it. And then I think the 2 lads are doing the TDS. So they pulled out. I don't know who's doing the Ultra now. I'm not sure if other people got picked for it. But hopefully I'm not the only one doing the Ultra for the Irish team, because there's a Sky race and stuff like that. So
and what's involved? Where is it?
It's in Sarria. I think that's how you pronounce it, in Spain. We fly into Madrid, and I think it's a few hours away from that. Or I done my first proper Sky race. Like I think the Seven Sisters was the closest one I done before, and I done that just taking me time. I think that was the 2 weeks before I done my first Kerry. But I went over to do the 14 Peaks a couple of weeks ago in Snowdonia. Just that's kind of the same kind of thing. Like it's I don't know what, 50 something kilometers and 4,000 meters climbing. Or I was like, wow, this is mad. Like I was just climbing. I was training. I was going up the Mourne mountains and stuff, trying to get my elevation up and training, not thinking about just keep my distance up. And then when I got to the race, I was thinking to myself, sure, this is all climbing as in climbing. Like it's not really running uphill.
Yeah.
Like, and I had a fall 2 days before the race. So I was just running up around Ticknock, and I tripped up, just going slow, and I cut the hands off myself and the knees off myself. So like as soon as we got to the tricky, like I fell again on the race and cut my hands open again.
Everything open.
Yeah, so I just said to myself, I said, right, this is just, I'm just going to take my time and just don't worry about racing it. You know what I mean? And that's what I did then, and just enjoyed it. And it was unbelievable. I think that was the first year I was on it. It runs alongside the Sky race in Snowdonia, but it was unbelievable. Probably one of the best and nicest races I've ever done, but it's like it's dodgy. Like if you've never ran before.
It's tough.
Yeah, like literally climbing like all the stuff, and you're following these flags. Well, I hope it's not that bad over here. It's Sarria, but you're following these flags and you're climbing over rocks, and you're saying to yourself, right, there's no, like, you can't see a flag, so I think to myself, if I climb up on this rock and I can't get back down, I'm stuck up there. Like that would make me fear. The fear was more of having to get helicoptered off the top of a rock, because I didn't know what it was like. Now, as I know what way the terrain is up there, like for doing the next year, I know what's like if you keep climbing, you're going to be all right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I just had no idea what was like at the on the ridges. Do you know what I mean? I was just thinking to myself, I'm going to be stuck up there like a bleed sack. Do you know what I mean? And the shoes I was training in, I did a couple of runs up the mountains with them, and I was like, these are great. Like these will do the job. And as soon as I got to any West Stone or anything like that at the start of the race, they were
Ice rink.
falling all over the place. And then
Oh, jeez.
the one time he needed only grip was at this, because if you fall, you're gone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, it was mad, but it was good crack. But fair play to two lads. I don't know if he's had Jerry Redmond on before. Did you?
Yeah,
we had
yeah.
Yeah, well, Jerry, I don't know. Like Jerry's a tough lad. Anyways, him and his friend Stephen, but they're only getting into the trail run. But like when I said it to him to do this, to jump on this, and he jumped onto it. But for your first proper trail race, him and his mate did it, and I swear to it, like they just done it, tapping away, having a bit of crack. But fucking hell, man, would it be what a race to do for your first proper trail ultra?
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to top that.
Yeah, when I was doing it, I was saying to myself, like, this is the maddest one I've ever done. And I've done loads of them. And there I am at the finish line waiting for the lads thinking, he's going to fucking kill me when he comes across the finish line. And he came through grand and he was bleeding. He was like, oh, that was deadly. And I was like, you're just mad. You know what I mean?
He just jumps on any sort of challenge. Like I met him again down at the Backyard Ultra elevation. And there was around 30 of us down there. His first Backyard Ultra, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm here till Monday." And I well believed him. I think he finished like second in the race or something, like, and like mad inclines, and I'd be struggling getting up to him. And there was like a small little go back in yourself. So I get to the very top of the hill, and like this was every hour on the air. There's Jer, no doubt, just coming back down this way. I have to go down a little bit, calm as you like, just coaching people along as well. Like I'm like, for fuck's sake, Jer, just he's an animal. He's insane. Like.
That's what I was texting him, because my friend now, his friend Stephen that was going, and my friend was saying to me, I don't think his mate has done much trail running. I think he done 120 something K or something trail race. And so I was texting Jared thinking like this is going to be a tough one. He was like, oh yeah, we're ready to be out for whatever amount of hours. So I was like, just want you to know you're going to be out for this long. You know what I mean? He was at the breaking his foot a few days before or something like that. I don't think he broke. I think he fractured or did something to his toe or something like that a couple of days before a training or something like that. And still rocked up, you know what I mean? But just as soon as he said he was willing to be out for that many hours, I was like, well, then you are ready. Because that's what sometimes it's more about than anything else. Once you have in your head, right, if you look at the cut-off point and say if it's 16 hours or whatever it is, if you think you can stay out for that, you can do it. Do you know what I mean? You can, no matter what the race is like. Once you have in your head, like, I might be out here for till that cut-off. And the race gets much easier then.
So you've come through the hardest one. You've done probably the most satisfying as well. Like Kerry, you love the Waterville, but something that makes you go, no, this is kind of a little bit scary is good. When you come down, you appreciate it a bit more. How good does it feel for someone, you know, when you're younger, you're saying I wasn't great at soccer, I wasn't good at this, to represent Ireland, to get a green bib, to run a race. How does that feel?
Unbelievable. Because when I first started even doing the IMRA, and you're seeing you can qualify, like you're following the IMRA page and you qualify, and you can see that, you can qualify for these IMRA races and stuff like that. Like you're saying to yourself, like, what? But you're looking at the times then thinking, like, will I ever get that? You know what I mean? And then, like, well, now, like, my goal was, before I got to this, I'm going to give a good go at the 80K to get onto the IMRA team, the Morris Mullins next year. Well, like, I imagine they'd be doing the same thing again. That's the main goal for next year. Anyways, that was, but like, I was still thinking, like, will you ever get a pick? You know what I mean? And I put my name forward for the 100K. John O'Regan asked me to put my name forward for the 100K last year for the Anglo Plate one. But I had no qualifying times or anything like that for that. So I was kind of just, if I was getting picked for that, it would have been for like a development kind of thing. If there was extra people or something getting picked. And that all went by who put the names forward for it. Do you know what I mean? So if people already had the qualifying times and put the names forward, I wouldn't get picked. But I knew that going into it. But the thought of having to be on that team gave me a boost to train. Like like the thought of even that before that doing under 330 in Donaghadee, like I was thinking, like last year I wouldn't have thought I would have ever done that. Because I thought I might get a chance to be on the Anglo Plate team. I was like, right, I have to get faster, like on the roads and this kind of running. So I just switched me training into like aiming for 330 in Donaghadee. Because I wasn't getting hopes up too much about the Anglo play Irish team thing, because then you had to be wrecked then. So he says, I'll aim for that. And if that happens after that, you well. No, obviously I didn't get picked for the Anglo play team, but like being focused or something like that, it's just different. Do you know what I mean? And for this now as well, like being focused for, like it's a different kind of race that I'm not used to. So that's probably a bit mad about it. But I was able to go over the Snowdonia race, the 14 peaks, and kind of suss out, like, this is kind of what these races are about. You know what I mean? So like I have an idea what I have to do now as well. You know what I mean? Now it's only a couple of weeks away, but I won't be too surprised when I'm having to climb, like, probably up the rope or whatever down.
You've had a taste. And at least when representing Ireland, you've put in the work to at least feel like you did it. And that's one thing, I suppose. And imposter syndrome. Do I deserve to be here? Should I be in this race? But you're putting in the work. You're traveling to these places. You're putting yourself on the front line as such in these races to suss it out and recce them. And by the time you get there, you have to trust that you're ready.
Yeah, well, that's the thing as well. And I think it's race experience as well. Like, you have to show up all these races and like suss out, like to learn how races work as well. Because I'm sure there's faster people out there as well, but like when they turn up to a race, they won't know how to race it, if that makes any sense as well. Do you know what I mean? But like, I'm kind of like, race experience wise, I'm getting that, because I don't rock up the races thinking I'm going to do well, and most of them, you know what I mean? A lot of the time, I turn up just for the crack. You know what I mean? It's mostly that, and then sometimes if I take off at my pace and I suss out the race, then thinking, oh look, if I don't have to push that much, and I know I could, like, this terrain is suiting me or whatever, and I just push on, and I end up doing well. And you know what I mean? It's a lot of luck sometimes with the races, especially with the trail races and stuff like that as well. But it's training when you're making your own luck as well. Do you know what I mean? So when you're getting out and putting the miles in every week or something or anything like that, but knowing that you have a goal and I get to wear an Irish jersey, it's like, it makes me want to get out all the time then, you know what I mean? And trying to just keep the mileage up and keep a bit focused. Like, I'd love to do every race this year again and have the bit of crack, but I won't risk getting injured. Do you know what I mean?
It's class you have that mindset and approach, because like, one look at your Instagram and all the races did last year, like, one of my questions was going to be, which one's the important one here? Because you're podium in all of them. You're put from, I look at it to get second. I know you said different things happened in Mourne Way, but look at it. It's like, well, he definitely raced that one because of his finish, and he definitely did race this one. He definitely raced the 3 marathons in 3 days, or a continuous one, and all the rest. It's like when do you almost smell the roses and just enjoy a race, enjoy the race? But then when you're talking about it, you're like, no, actually, that was a training run towards this bigger goal, or Donna D was to get towards, getting the Irish babe and all the rest. And that is class. It's not just crushing the body through every single race and going all out. And then, like, the way you look after yourself afterwards, it is class.
Well, last year would have been, Waterville last year would have been just a training run for Kerry. Like, because the end goal last year would have been Kerry in September. And that's all it was then. Like, I put a good bit of work into training for Kerry last year. Like, I was well off how fast I was meant to be. And I just got 4th place because two of the lads got joint second. Do you know what I mean? And I ended up getting the trophy for 3rd place then as well. But that's how ultra-running works. Like, if you're running and you're tired when you're in an ultra, and you're saying to yourself, oh, I'm wrecked. Like, you have to understand, the people in front of you are feeling that. The people behind you are feeling that. And normally, if a group goes out, like, it's not just Kerry Way last year. Normally, when a big group goes out with an ultra, half of them only finish where they're going to finish. Not even that sometimes. Like, I done Snowdonia, the always aim high. I came second 2 weeks ago. That wasn't that. But I just booked onto that because the terrain and everything kind of suited me. And I said, I want to do a race of like this far out and prepare for a proper, like, the week coming up the way, like, because I didn't prepare proper for the 14 peaks. But this, I was going to, like, watching me food for the week, eating right that morning, and get me nutrition right during the race. And the terrain kind of suited me to do that as well. Like, well, I thought I did, and anyway, like, it was the last, I think it was 1,000 meters climbing in the last 10K or something, like the last 15K or whatever. But I came second in that from doing that. But at the start of that race, like, one fella went miles out ahead, and I didn't even worry about him. I says, I was wrong myself, but I thought he's never going to keep that speed up. And another group went out, say about 4 of them, went out like ahead of me then as well. And I was thinking to myself, right, by judging by what I know from the experience, I'm going to come first second or third here, because they're definitely not going to, that whole group isn't going to keep this pace up. And the first fella looks like I didn't even get to see him at the start line. He went out that quick. He ended up finishing. Anyways, he was good. But I didn't expect him that. And then what happened then was the group that was around me all fell off. And my friend Philly Slattery, that's in the club, he only started running with me, and he came second in Waterville, the 2-day one this year. He came third then. So both of us, I came second and he came third in the podium. And I just walked out because the mindset he's after getting from the last time, he's always out running with me, is that just keep that ultra mentality. Like, think anything can go wrong, just as long as you'll keep pushing, like, you might still get there. You know what I mean?
Do you do recce's for your races, or do you do a lot of prep for stuff? Because it sounds like, I can handle this pace and stuff like that, but with like elevation coming here or elevation coming there, or when you start a race, it's like, this is pretty much my pace and I just change it for gradients and stuff. Right? How do you approach a race? One of those long races?
No, I'll just start at just how I feel. It depends on it, because anything can happen on the morning. Do you know what I mean? You could go up on the morning and you'll have, like, I'll go back to the 14 peaks again. Like, on that morning, the lads wanted to kill me. I booked some hostel over there because there were so many of us going over, and the place was a bleeding shithole. Fucking Jerry Redmond turned around and says, Mount Joy was nicer than this. I want to see the beds in it. Like, Jesus Christ. It was dog rough. But I just thought somewhere to put the head down. There's loads of us going, couldn't find anywhere else for us to stay. So we didn't get sleep the night before. And we were traveling from early that morning, and we couldn't make anything to eat. No, even kettles to make a cup of coffee. And it was just horrible. You know what I mean? But then at the start of that race, like, what are you going to do? Like, you know what I mean? But if I had been feeling better, I would have just took it back and probably would have got myself together eventually then, but it just didn't happen. But on some races, you can plan out that you're going to go out this fast, or you can go and stick to this pace or anything like that. But if you're up that morning and something isn't right and you go out fast, like I did myself in Kerry, like I went out, I didn't even go out fast at the start of the Kerry Way last year, but I went out, I was looking at my heart rate and it was well up, and I didn't slow down. I didn't get my head together, which I felt it then afterwards, you know what I mean? Which if I had to listen to my body and says, right, take it back a bit, I'll say I would have finished a lot better. You know what I mean? But sometimes what I do is I'll just go out, like on like the last race, the Snowdonia one, I just knocked the heart rate off you watch and says, I'll go how I feel. You know what I mean? But the plan kind of was whoever goes out first, because I didn't care. I was out there prepared and all right. I felt great that morning. I said, whoever goes out first, I'm chasing him. And this fella went out like he was running a 5K. That's all. Sprinting out. It was like somebody turning up to a 5K park phone and vapor flies and taking off. And we were a load of grannies bleeding at the back thinking, fucking, who the fuck is this fella? And he was gone. And then, but like, it was just, I couldn't chase him. I wanted it anyway. So like, but I just kept at the same pace, kept everybody in my sights and all, you know what I mean? And sometimes once you keep that and you're there, you kind of get yourself into a groove then, do you know what I mean? And with the ultras, once you get in that groove and you're fit, obviously you need to be fit and able for, like, you just keep bleeding rolling along then, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, to go almost full circle on it, just hearing about Snowdonia and the views and just the challenges making your way up and the elevation and stuff like that. To go back to the very start with the groups of people, the insane numbers from Cherry Orchard to do Dublin Marathon and stuff like that. How do you go back to doing a marathon now, like with all those trail runs and the different challenges that faces compared to just a road race? Or do you do any road races like that anymore to take them off a day out, or is it trail runs has to be ultra now for you?
No, well, I done Barcelona Marathon this year, and I swear to God, it was the easiest race. Not because I know marathons can be sometimes tougher than ultras, but I think because of the weather, and I was out being trained. Like, if you run in the Phoenix Park during the winter, the wind hits you from every direction, and I'd rather run up the mountains when it's windy than run in the Phoenix Park, because you know what you're going to get in the mountains. You know, when you go up the mountains, anything can happen weather-wise. So it doesn't bother you. Like, it's water off a duck's back. When you get down to the Phoenix Park and you're thinking, I'm going to do a nice fast 10K or whatever, and you get down and the wind is walloping you from every direction. And you can't even hear the music in your headphones or anything like that. And you're like, this isn't right. And then, but we were at being training for that, tapping away for a couple of weeks, just getting a pace up kind of for for Barcelona, and I went over and I think I done 2:45 then, but I just kept in the groove, and it just like had my nutrition on point, and it was probably one of the easiest races I've ever done. Do you know what I mean? Because I wasn't putting any thought really into it. I was just thinking, right, try and run at this pace and just take a gel every 5K. And I was like, there's no thought into, there's a hill coming up. If I slip here, I'm going to break my neck. None of that. There was just
run
one foot in front of the other. Yeah. and just remember, take a gel, 5K. Boom, that's it. I was like, and then it's over. Do you know what I mean? But I think the race itself, because it was flat and it wasn't really windy or anything like that, it was just a breeze, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty well kind of sheltered and stuff as well, because you're in the city for a lot of it, and it's almost, I don't know if it's an out and back course, but there's parts of you running down the city, you look down, you can see other people running the other way. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a nice course now. It's a great route to do. Like the first year we done it, I don't know about Cherry Orchard, like, was a lot of my friends' first marathon as well, but I stayed at the back, one of my friends, and just tapped away, and it was lovely. Yeah, we had a bit of crack and stuff like that. It was a lot warmer that day, I remember. Like, I think it was warm over there this time. I think it was later on in the year, the first time we done it. But the weather was just perfect, kind of, I think. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And sometimes, like, things like that help now. But, like,
absolutely.
I wouldn't be mad focused into times and stuff like that for a marathon myself. Like I don't think, I don't know. Obviously, the under 3 hour thing was always something in your head. Do you know what I mean? But it wasn't nothing that was overly bothering me. Do you know what I mean? It was still, the Dublin Marathon was the only marathon I was kind of thinking about every year. Do you know what I mean? And you just do that for the crack, kind of. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I do ultras all the time, and like last year, the Dublin Marathon comes in October. Like, I was after doing, that's just basically the end of the season for all the ultras. You know what I mean? Then you're into thinking that you're going to do a 3 hour and a bleeding and a marathon. I think
just take it easy, enjoy a victory lap.
Show up for the victory lap, the lap of honor.
No, I tried to do 3 hours in the bleeding yoke, the Dublin Marathon. I done 3 hour 1 or something like that, and fucking bleeding.
I hope you gave back the medal.
I think, I could say that it was overall the run I was doing. I was doing it and I was tapping away, and I think I went out too fast at one stage and I was getting the crumbling. And you know, would you have Keith Russell on before?
Yes, we had about
Keith comes running past me. It's like he was only to get back from the World Championship.
Tennessee, yeah.
I was like, fuck off. And it was running with a fella, and I was like, he said, he's only back from the World Championships. He's had to be running 40 plus hours or whatever it was. What's it, 70 or 80 hours or something like
that? He did 70 plus hours, I think he did.
Yes,
something like that.
And he's still ripping by me, you know what I mean? I thought I was still on for 3 hours at this point. I was like, this is mad. Kind of bleeding. That slowed me down then. Like, you think that, you think to myself, I was like, I'm knackered, and he's at the cruising past me.
Keith with a backpack on and a family of 4 in a tram. Like, he's an animal. He's something else.
That was literally a week later, I think it was, after Tennessee. Because I heard he was down there, and I was like, there's no way he's actually doing it. He's probably just seeing people there, whatever. And then afterwards, seeing on Instagram, like, how, like, did he, and like, well under 3 hours as well. Absolutely insane.
Not about it, man. Well, he must have been, I can't remember what he done, but he went past me. I think I was on for 3 hours at Crumlin, because the chap I was running with actually done 3 hours. I think I run that 3 hours, and Keith ripped past me. That's what I felt like. You know what? Like, when this guy ripped past that marathon, he probably just cruised past, and I just thought, Jesus.
May as well have ripped past you.
Yeah.
I'm conscious that we've had you nearly an hour now at this stage, Sean. I don't want to keep it too much longer, but I have to ask, because of the distance, and you're chasing the distance. You've hit 200k at Kerry. I know you're going into the mountain kind of races and stuff like that now. Do you have an urge to go longer? Or do you feel like when you've done something like a 200k Kerry Way, you're kind of like, you know what? I'm happy with that level distance. That has challenged me to get that far with it. Now it's a case of getting faster and Irish jerseys and all the rest.
No, well, everything probably depends on what happens on the Morris Mullins if I get on the Irish team.
Yeah.
Or not, you know what I mean? But I'd love to do, like I said before, that if I was doing Kerry this year, I'd be taking a break from it, no matter what the result. Like, I love to win Kerry, obviously, but no matter what the result, I'd like to do something else. But I'd always, since I started, I was always looking at Spartathlon. I think I seen Stephen Murphy was on the other day.
Talking about it, yeah.
Yeah, he's a different kind of talker than me. I'm Mumla. He's we stone. He put his stone every extra couple of meters every time and all and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was listening to him talking about when, like, I imagine he'll do very good in it. But when I was looking at it, was when I first was starting. That's what I was going to looking at. I have to. He murdered the name as well, but Fidifis or Fidifis, whatever his name is, he couldn't say it either when he's talking. I have a tattoo on my leg, the first marathon runner, but that's why I got a tattoo on my leg, because it was the Spartathlon thing. I was kind of looking at that, you know what I mean? And I still but then when I was looking at doing that, Kerry just came up. And once I done Kerry that one time, I don't know what it is about it. It just kind of sucks you in
back.
a little bit.
Like the Dublin Marathon.
Yeah, and it's because the crew that comes down, the same lads, Wacko, Barry, Joe, and Bud and all, like it's like it's something we look forward to every year to go down. It's not just me running it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's hard to explain unless you're down there with a crew doing it. Like the atmosphere and the buzz about it and stuff like that. I don't think there's much races like it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's hard to explain.
It's like that for me and Sean in terms of Dublin, and when I'm back in Ireland, it's just something that's in the calendar, because we like to sit in Dublin and chat afterwards, maybe have a beer afterwards and get a dirty kebab after. It's just part of the calendar and something we enjoy to do. And okay, you have a short run to do. Kerry Way is a bigger run to do, but obviously once the weekend is in the calendar, everyone enjoys it.
Yeah, well, like we're all like my mates are just buzzing for that straight away as well. Like the first year I done it, loads of them came down and crewed from me, and I thought they were lying when they says they loved it, because they're out for, I think it was 35 hours. I think was my first year, and your friends are taking turns crewing for you and stuff like that. And then afterwards, they were all buzzing for it. And then the following year, then everybody's talking about me crew, because they were helping everybody, and that was the buzz about it. Then, like, even when I was running in with the 100k people and stuff like that this year, I was running and they seen Cherry Orchard and they were like, "Oh yeah, I've seen your lads at this race or whatever race," and they were there crewing for me, but nobody even sees me doing it. They just see the crew. Like, I don't know, people saying, "Oh, where's your runner?" And they're like, "Oh, this is who we're crewing for." Yeah, I'm like, "Oh, that's him." They don't even know me.
And you do need them people, and Sean has those people as well, and it's what makes it. When you have a good team around you, they enjoy it as well, and everyone gets to know them. And those atmospheres at them races, there is nothing like it. You can't really describe it. It's one of those things, once you experience it, you never want to let go of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, my friends, like, there's still a lot going out there Kerry this year from Cherry Orchard, but it won't be this. Like, some of my friends are still coming to Spain with me. Like, even one of my friends, I give him a little plug, Joe Doyle, entrepreneur, and his thing. But he's actually the lad that got me running first, and he's had to be sponsoring me last couple of trips over the Snowdonia and stuff like that, because it makes a difference as well. Like, the trips, like, I work for myself, so I have to take time off work to go to running and stuff like that. Running, you don't think running isn't expensive, but like,
it is. The lonely amount of races you're doing, that was the first thing that popped in my head. Like, geez, this guy must have some fucking job.
The amount of runners and all you go through, like, it's just, lucky enough, I probably have I don't do much else. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just probably walk and run is probably all I really do. But that's what Joe is at. Like, he's helped me out with one of the last couple of training trips and stuff like that, and the trip over to Spain then as well. Do you know what I mean? Which is helping enough, and they're coming over. The crew for me and the rest of the Irish team, if any of them need it as well. So it's good to have a couple of the lads crewing over. And it wasn't even like I had to ask anybody to do it. As soon as I said I was going, like, they were all going. Do you know what I mean? So
brilliant.
Yeah,
that is class to have.
It'd be good crack when we're all over there with the Irish flags and everything else, and the Cherry Orchard Runner Club flags.
And look, I'd say there's no better feeling. There will be no better feeling. We're looking forward to seeing how well it goes for you. We're excited that the crew are excited for you. The club is doing great. And again, a big shout out to Cherry Orchard. We are very conscious you're a busy man, and we are so grateful for your time. We wish you all the best. We hopefully will have you on towards the end of the year when the season's over, and we can probably get a recap of how it went in the green jersey. But it's been absolutely amazing hearing how humble you are. And how great it is that you've come so far with such a short running career, I suppose, and starting in the community running with your dad, who'll never be named, and and the others. But it's been a privilege having you on, and great to have a front row seat to listen to your story.
Legends, that's fair play. It was great. Thanks for having me.
And that's it for this week's episode of the Any Given Runday podcast. And myself, Sean, and Eric. Take care.